Where we going, Shy? Where we going, buddy? Are we going camping? Are you stoked? Hey, what's up, guys? We're at the first camp of the season. I made a video here about a year ago. Oh my goodness, he shook his bell off. Look, the carabiners there. All right, now we gotta go find that bell, buddy. So I made a video out here about a year ago. This is the Hayman fire restoration area, and it's not necessarily one of my favorite places to come and camp, but it is one of the first that starts to dry up. So you can see there's still a little bit of snow up here. That's actually pretty rare for April in this area. So we're sitting at about 55. I think it almost got to 60 today, and then at night it's going to be around 40 degrees. There's some really pretty views this way, and I think this time I'm going to drive the Jeep back down and go check out Cheeseman Reservoir. I've actually never been down there. So we'll go get some of that footage. Got the Jeep set up. We're going to sleep in the Jeep tonight just for the ease of access. And so this road is, I believe it's called Wigwam Trail. You can drive just about any vehicle down it. It's definitely not Jeep specific or anything like that. And there's about 12 campsites on this road. Pretty hard to find an open spot during the summer. It's also not the best place to camp because the fire bans are in effect super early, but we've had a really good snow season and it's still early in April, so we can make a fire at this moment. But I'd say half the campsites were actually taken as we drove in. And most people are just set up shooting guns, which, on that note, I'm like this close to picking up a handgun. And the reason I came out to this campsite was originally I had hoped to have it in possession today, but the one that I'm after, it's a SIG P320 that's a 40 caliber versus a 9mm. It seems like it's kind of hard to find one in stock in Denver, so I'm gonna have to have it special ordered in. But anyways, this is a great campsite or place to come camp and shoot at the same time. So you can see all the trees are burned at the top of that mountain, and then the valley over here to the left is pretty much wasted. And if you want to check that video out from last year, it's called the Hayman Fire Restoration Camp, something like that. There's two videos, part one, part two. I actually hike up to the top of a mountain and get a pretty sweet sunrise, so you should check it out. I'll put links down in the description. Oh, what is he doing? Shy, what you eating, brother? Oh yeah, that's a nice like deer bone skull. Deer bone skull. What is that? What are you eating? Don't eat that shit. No. Oh, that's great. That's great. And this is what dogs do out in the woods. All right, let me give you a rundown of our camp. This is how Shiloh and I like to roll. For the most part, all this stuff I've got in separate compartmentalized bags, and when I roll out, I just take the 4 or 5 bags that I usually camp with, throw them in the back of the Jeep, and call it good. So I usually have about twice as much stuff on me at any given time that I need, but it's like I'm positioned well for a variety of car camping situations. So we found this cool little spot. It's got a nice fire pit. I probably put this tarp a little bit too close because there's a slight breeze and I have a gut feeling that some of the embers might float over. So not the best positioning, but this is my Madeira tarp. I did a video last year on their hammock products, and I ended up using the Madeira tarp more than anything. I already had an Eno hammock and I like it. I like both of them, but the Eno's got some straps that I'd already invested in that's just a little bit easier to set up. So I've got my hammock in here, Madeira tarp on top. This thing's pretty handy. So it's obviously a lot more lightweight than one of those like Ozark Trail or what is the brand? Not Kirkland. That's Costco. Anyways, I can't remember, but you know what I'm talking about, like metal poles, 4 metal poles, they like spring pop up and they're little shelters from the rain. I kind of prefer these hammock tarps because you can either pull them down in an A-frame type situation like this, which would protect you in the event of getting rained on in the hammock or something like that, or you could even sleep in this overnight. But I've also taken these straps right here and like attached them to my Jeep or to a higher point on a tree this way and had more of a level awning. So it's pretty versatile and I like it because it's super lightweight. All right, then checking out the Jeep. This is my sleep situation. So this time I'm gonna try my inflatable airbed. So I have this Thermarest that I got at a thrift store a really long time ago, and it does a pretty good job. But I also have one of those inflatable ones from REI, and it's not my favorite, but let me show you the joint. This is the downside to sleeping in the Jeep. There's a little bit of an incline when you lay this seat down. It kind of goes up like this, and you can see where the joints are. It's got a lot of open space, and it's pretty uncomfortable and uneven. So I laid the Thermarest on the first layer, just throw a blanket over it. I'm gonna put the the inflatable REI one underneath that, and we're gonna see if that does a better job. It's been getting me by using my two Thermarests, but I forgot one of them on this trip, and so that's why I don't really have enough cush, and I'm gonna try the inflatable instead. I'm hungry and I want to start a fire, but there's this ominous cloud coming over this way. I'm looking straight up, and it's not really moving anywhere. It's just kind of been festering right here. It's getting real dark in the distance. So I don't know if I should start a fire or if it's just gonna get rained out, but over here we're smooth sailing. It's beautiful on this side. You can hear people banging in the distance. Somebody has some mad assault rifle. I mean, it was really, really loud earlier. The bottom of my axe is busted, so when I go to try to make a solid cut, it won't hold. No. Oh my goodness. The iPhone just took it to the face. As soon as I started this fire, the storm's rolling in. You gotta be kidding me. Look at this. It's getting pretty nasty. I can see rain coming in pretty quick, so I'm gonna put the camera up. The funny thing is, I was making this fire so I could cook on the cast iron, just realized I forgot the cast iron. I still have a little frying pan I can use, but I was gonna cook these chicken drumsticks in them. I don't know how that's gonna work, so it's not the end of the world, but this has got to go up. I can feel the cold coming in. It's rain's right there. So as it turns out, I forgot everything I need to cook my food. I forgot the cast iron. I thought I had another frying pan on me, but I don't. All I have is this little aluminum bowl. And so I ran out of options, and I'm just trying to think on my feet. I've seen meat smoked like this before. I just don't have the proper, I don't have like appropriate twine or anything to dangle these from. Or chain would be a lot better, like maybe a cast iron pan or something that dangles from the middle. But all I could find was this synthetic twine, and I'm hoping that it doesn't get too hot to the point where it melts the twine and everything just drops down. But if so, that's fine, because plan B is honestly to just lay it on top of those logs. And we'll grill it like it was on a barbecue grill. So, I don't know. If it doesn't turn out, no big deal. I've got some sandwich stuff, and I've got eggs for the morning that I can cook in that little aluminum bowl. So, I don't know. Making do. What is it, mister? Check out my little hand washing station. That's a little $3-4 bucket from Walmart, and a 2-gallon, like a 2-gallon one with a spigot, which is nice. And then I use biodegradable soap, of course, and I try just to take a little bit with me because you really don't need much. But what I'll do is wash my hands and dishes and whatever else in this water, save it at the end of the night, dump it on the fire. That way you can make sure it's dead and down. What do you think, Shy? You getting hungry? Yeah? Bummer, dude. The twine definitely did not last. So I had to take the chicken and I used aluminum foil and I just wrapped them up individually and threw them on like baked potatoes. So I think out of all my options, that is actually the best one. And they got to smoke for a little bit, but the tipping point, I took a piece of tin foil and I put kind of like a tin foil hat over the top of the chicken cluster. And my thought was like, oh, I'll hold some smoke and heat up at the top and it'll, cook more evenly. And as soon as the heat funneled up to the tip where it was tied, that twine just unraveled itself and melted immediately. So at least it didn't melt into the chicken. Shiloh, come back, mister. What are you doing? What are you doing over there? Turned out to be a nice night. That's the thing about the spring in Colorado. The storms they never last. Blow in, blow out. And it's gotten real nice and peaceful. So last time I was here, I hiked up to the top of a mountain behind us, and you can see the sunrise to the far left, but then the rays, they come in like this and they hit this big mountain, and all that red rock just lights up fiery orange. It's really, really pretty. I almost forgot. You know you're getting old when like the highlight of your first camp trip of the season is getting to test out the Costco flannel line jeans that you got for 18 bucks. Wanna get up in here, Shy? Get up in here. Come here. One, two. Oh, there we go. There we go. You're all in there. Good boy. There we go. Cool? Shy's a wimp in the cold. He's used to his cush, warm apartment these days. He was all shivering in the hammock. Alright, but this chicken's done. Oh, it smells good. And it's gonna taste lovely because it got about 20 minutes of that smoke. When I opened the last one up and checked it out, fantastic. Sorry boys, this one's taken. It's tough to find a spot out here on the weekend, that's for sure. Don't get mad at me, man. I am so lucky. I don't think it could have turned out any better. Look at this. I love it. I love char grilled meat, so this is cool. It turned out just fine. Probably a little bit drier than most people like, but I'd rather it be overcooked than undercooked. You know what I mean? You want a piece of chicken, Shiloh? Alright, bon appetit. Are you tired, Shiloh? Are you so tired, buddy? Shiloh. Shiloh. Okay, you can go back to sleep. Oh, hey guys, before I forget, if you live in Colorado and you camp and you've got a similar style to me and you want to hang out, I'm looking for people that are local and want to do this. If you want to make collaboration videos, that'd be super awesome too. But just hit me up in the comments. Let me know what kind of camping you do, what areas, and we'll try and find some dates and meet up. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Oh man, iPhone can just barely do it justice. That's really pretty. Gotta love coming out and catching these sunsets, yeah? Beautiful iPhone zoom. Well, I think it's time to chill out now, you know? Food's done, pretty much cleaned up, got Shiloh's bowls taken care of, got the bed made, air mattress up. He's already inside the Jeep chilling, he's getting cold. So I'm gonna chill by the fire for a little bit. Maybe wait until it gets night, see if we can see any stars. Sack.